I hear conversation about it being over. I hear conversation about Carlos Mendoza. Are you checking your manager now? Are you saying that he missed? Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I guess we got to talk some Mets fans off the ledge. I think we got to just, zero in on the fact that the worst loss of the season is not yesterday. It's not any of the losses, not Jorge Lopez throwing the glove in the air, not having a 5-0 lead on the Oakland A's. The worst loss of the season is the loss that mathematically puts you out of the season, puts you out of the running for the postseason. The worst loss of the season is the loss that eliminates you on both sides. I mean, the Yankees had a bunch of worst losses of the year. I mean, one of them came at the hands of the Mets. I think as fans, we just live in this day-to-day, 162 one-game seasons. If you're a diehard baseball fan, you're literally ready to die hard every 9 innings. But ultimately, it's still right in front of them until it's not. But now it just gets scary, right? Now we're entering the territory of wasted opportunities. You can't waste this opportunity. As the summer ends, I think about how many people probably wasted this summer. This was a great opportunity. While it was warm outside, the days were longer for you to get after it, for you to seize the day. And the thing that sucks about losing a game like you lost yesterday against the San Diego Padres, I was in Atlanta over the weekend. The Braves lost. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, we got it. We're going to win the series. We have a 2-run lead. Okay, we're going to gain some room here. The Braves lost. Well, that's baseball, Susan. It doesn't go that way. But I look at the Mets team and I say, hold on. Everybody had them buried through this stretch. No way are they going to beat the Baltimore Orioles. Sure they can. Walk them off. Emphatically. Francisco Alvarez, Jesse Winker. Take 2 out of 3 from those guys. Then go on the road and face a team that, you still have a grudge against. You still want to get a little bit of revenge against from the last time you were in the postseason with the team that won 101 games and a special season, and a lot of those guys still being here. Carlos Mendoza saying we're going to lean on the experience of the 2022 Mets to get us through this year. When I look at a guy like Francisco Lindor, not Alvarez, when I look at a guy like Francisco Lindor, who is, yes, actually in the MVP conversation, no matter what we want to say about Shohei Ohtani or not, I'm having arguments this weekend with my friend Serena, Dodgers fan, about Shohei Ohtani versus Judge. Don't give me that one. Who would you rather pay to go see? Who's the most electrifying guy in the sport? But now, when you look at a guy like Lindor, I mean, we got to put some respect on his name. He deserves all of our respect. Make the respect as loud or louder than the disrespect, myself included. I looked at the contract over the years, and I'm like, this guy's overpaid. I looked at the contract over the years, and I'm like, they just had to do this. Rich owner coming in. They just had to spend some money to keep a guy here. He's worth every penny. He's carrying the team at times. His moxie, his aura, his swag, he's fired up out there. He's competing at a high level when the lights are brightest. 888-808-1019. Francisco Lindor is having a great year. Francisco Lindor is the leader of the team, captain of the team, MVP of the team, and definitely in the MVP discussion. I mean, Shohei Ohtani is a unicorn. He's one of one. He's not even doing what makes him half man, half amazing. But when you look at this Mets team, where they started off and where they are now, Francisco Lindor is the main catalyst. And that's another thing about the Mets team. This is an average team. This is a slightly better than 500 team. They win a game, they lose a game. They win a game, they lose a game. That's average. But you know what? They need to put together a win streak, a 4-game win streak, 5-game win streak at some point. Maybe it's in front of them right now. Maybe that can happen with the Arizona Diamondbacks series into the Chicago White Sox series, but we all know the Diamondbacks aren't losing games. They're balling right now. I mean, they were in the World Series last year. They have found it. And the White Sox, you can't take lightly either, but it's all still right in front of them until it's not. It's all still right in front of you until mathematically you're out of it. And you can't worry about it. The players can't worry about losing a game. They're off today. They got to enjoy their off day as they're in Arizona now, and they have to put that behind them and play a series against a team that's in the top wild card spot. They can't be thinking about Jose Butto. They can't be thinking about Quintana, Edwin Diaz, Francisco Alvarez. And I know you guys are going to call up today and you're going to talk about Quintana. I think I saw Evan said something along the lines of, Carlos Mendoza fell in love with lefty. No, he's just playing the matchup and his numbers and going with the plan and the script that they had. And you know what, guys, didn't get it done. But Jose Quintana overall gave you his best outing in weeks when you needed it. You know, a guy like David Peterson has been super solid. His performance was great again. So you have little pieces and parts of the team. Maybe some of you are mad at Francisco Alvarez and you want to see Luis Torrens. I don't know if that's going to change anything. I don't think that Torrens deserves to be glued on the bench, but I also know that Alvarez is a young leader on the team. He's got a certain swag, moxie, energy that he brings. You need the compete level. You know, you need Jesse Winker going out there and doing the spank. You need him slamming his helmet. And even though people didn't like it, you need some type of energy around the team that, no, we're not just going to be a doormat. We're not going to lose. We're not going to just lay down. And I think the Mets still have that. I think that the Mets, they have lost so many games, but they've shown you as soon as you think it's the lowest of low, whether you think it's, you know, the worst loss of the season, they can rebound from it. They can come back, have a complete game shutout. Severino, when you're thinking about, man, he's running out of bullets. It's late in the season. He hasn't pitched as much. He's there. Pete Alonso, Pete hasn't done anything. Pete will knock a couple homers out. Pete will show that he's still there. I mean, you need more out of Pete Alonso this year. That's part of it, too. But all in all, when I look at the Mets in this season, the grimace season, the OMG Jose Iglesias #1 hit single season, Mark Vientos is going to have a 25, 30 home run season. You're getting performances out of guys like Harrison Bader when you need it. I know Nimmo had an injury, couple injury, sickness or whatever, but he was playing like an all-star in the beginning. Like, when you're putting all of these things together, Marte has come back. They've been able to overcome injuries to the rotation. Paul Blackburn is another injury you're going to have to overcome. It's a special season. It's a special year. And you can't waste years like these. You don't get too many years like these. So it doesn't matter that in the beginning of the season it was an evaluation year. It doesn't matter that in the beginning of the year, if they make the postseason, whatever. You know, some fans even getting mad at these competitors, they thought they had a postseason team. The owner, the president of baseball operations, the players told you we think we're a postseason team, and they're right there. The Braves, they're reeling. I was at the game Friday night, and I mean, the Braves fans, they're quiet in there. It was awkward in there. Like, they try to manufacture the, like, they put everybody on the big screen doing the chop, and it is not lit. They got lucky. A walk-off error. C.J. Abrams throws the first base guy, can't scoop it. Michael Harris, the second runs through first base. Braves win. They come back, win the next game, but they don't end up sweeping the Washington Nationals, who the Yankees will have next. But when I look at the Braves, I'm like, they're not a juggernaut either. They're not elite either. All it's going to take is one down week for them and one good week for the Mets, and maybe they swap. You can't think about what's already done. The past is the past. You can't think about the missed opportunities that were there for weeks and weeks and weeks. Oh, the Angels series. Oh, the Rockies series. The Oakland Athletics series. It's done. It's done. But all in all, I think that these guys are fighting. These guys are competitive. These guys want to get to October. Your president of baseball operations did make some moves to get you across the finish line to make sure that you have, I mean, it wasn't the greatest deadline, but it was enough. You had a starter. You had a bat. You add pieces to the bullpen on a team that already had a deep bench and different guys coming out of the bullpen. They made the bullpen better. The rotation has been better than expected. Sean Manaea has been great. Now you just need to continue on. You got to put it in the rearview mirror. I know. It just happened yesterday. So people are still living in it today, and you can't wait for them to get back on the field tomorrow. It's an off day. But I just really feel like as fans, we die hard every game. We live in this 162 one-game seasons, and they don't live like that. They can't live like that. The math is still the math. It's there until it isn't. And we need New York back in the postseason on both sides. And the Yankees, when we're talking about the Yankees not wasting, a season, it's not the same bar as the Mets, obviously. But for the Yankees, they can't waste a season where you have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to have Juan Soto next year. They can't waste a season where Judge is doing this again. Judge is potentially going to break his own record. He's going to hit more than 62. Like, as soon as I saw him in the Guardians series hit 4 home runs, I'm like, okay, wait. His pace is changing. His pace was at like 58, 60. Now he's on pace to hit 63. Brian Hoke will join me at 11:30, so we'll do the Mets conversation. We'll table the Yankees conversation. Hoke wrote the book 62 a couple years back when Judge broke the AL home run record. And I jokingly said to Hoke, you're going to have to write 63 or maybe 65 or dare I say 70. There's still some 30 games left. There's still another month of the season left. I mean, the Judge numbers are starting to get really crazy. Like, they're just starting to be dumb at this point where it doesn't make sense. It's video game numbers. It's this guy over his last 13 games has 10 home runs and 8 strikeouts. Yeah, Judge has more home runs than strikeouts in his last 13 games. His name is being placed among steroid users who went absolutely crazy. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, when we're talking about 50 homer seasons. This is Judge. Judge is not on steroids. Judge is just some type of mutant X-Men. The Judge or not. This guy is like something we've never seen. And that's why I've been on the fan for weeks saying, hey, I don't criticize Judge. I'm not counting this guy out. Nobody's saying anything about this man's toe anymore. Nobody's even thinking he could be potentially hurt or injured. Remember, that was the conversation in April. Imagine if in April he just was a little bit more of himself. He wasn't himself at all. That's why we were worried. Well, he missed a little bit of spring training. He slumped. Everybody is human. Even though this guy doesn't seem human, he slumped. And then he's turning on at a historic pace. And he's doing it with Juan Soto in front of him. So I know the conversations today are going to be about keeping Juan Soto and what the Yankees have to do to keep Juan Soto, especially as Juan Soto's about to go back to Washington, D.C., where he won a World Series, looking to do the same thing with the Yankees this year. And he's about to face his former team and get a hard look at, okay, this is what they turned into after me. They offered him 15 years, $440 million. He turned it down. What's it going to take for the Yankees to keep Juan Soto? And I don't care what it takes. I think all Yankee fans are on the same page with this. Seeing these guys Sunday go back to back to back, seeing these guys just dominate. Pitchers don't have a chance. You're just hoping that this continues, not just into the postseason. Sure, we're almost guaranteed that the Yankees have a little bit of a lead in first place in the AL East. And, I mean, for my money's worth, they need to win the division. They need to have the best record in the AL to give themselves the best chance to ensure that they get to the World Series, that we can see Aaron Judge. Don't waste his prime, right? Don't waste 1 year potentially of Juan Soto. And I think all Yankee fans are on the same page that whatever it costs, it costs. Like, Juan Soto is a Yankee. He's in pinstripes. We're seeing what Aaron Judge looks like with Juan Soto batting in front of him. You have to keep this tandem together. This Bash Brothers or Mantle and no, you have to keep these guys together. As much as Judge's name is also being mentioned with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, it's ridiculous. This has to continue. And so for the Mets, we're talking about not wasting a magical season where things like Grimace and oh my God song comes up and you're getting career years out of guys like a Jose Iglesias. You have guys competing like Luis Severino, way different year than he had last year. You can't waste a year. It isn't just good enough to compete and give us good memories from March to September. They have to make the postseason, and it's still very much on the table. But there's got to be urgency. There can't be mistakes. You got to win games like yesterday, but it's not the worst loss of the year. And the conversation with the Yankees is, listen, Judge is in his prime. How long is he going to be in his prime? I'm not doubting that guy. I'm done doing that. I don't think anybody's doubting him. He's the best thing in baseball right now. He's the best thing to watch in baseball right now. The Yankees are making money. Man, a Sunday like that, I was jealous. I was out of town this weekend. And I'm like, man, if you went to the game yesterday, what a treat. Old Timers Day, we'll forget about that one. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about Will Warren and, obviously Jeter and A-Rod and Mariano Rivera and those guys coming back. But Old Timers Day was very forgettable. But the Yankees responded yesterday with Soto, with Judge, with Giancarlo Stanton. Gleyber Torres, good to see you. Verdugo, keep him down there in the order. The Yankees are in the middle of another historic run from a guy that's going to win MVP again. You can't waste his prime. You got to get this guy to October. You got to get this guy really to the Fall Classic in October. Keith McPherson on the fan, 888-808-1019. Don't waste your summer. This is it. I mean, we're coming up on Labor Day weekend this weekend. Don't waste your opportunity, whatever emails you need to send, whatever business plans you have, whoever you wanted to reach out to, some content you wanted to create, just go for it. The summer will be over before you know it. Football is coming. I think later on today we'll talk a little bit about Jets and Giants. There's cuts going on in the NFL as well, but really the conversation today starts with the Mets. Tough loss yesterday. They didn't lose the series, though. Tough loss yesterday against the San Diego Padres, a peer-tier team that's right in front of you in the wild card standings. And then for the Yankees, they handled business against the Colorado Rockies. I think that story's secondary. The real story is what Aaron Judge is doing, and if we're possibly watching another historic run, if he's going to break his own record. And with Juan Soto in front of him, you got to keep them together. And I think the Yankees know that. I think the Yankees know whatever it costs, it costs. And a lot will be determined by, on both sides, right? I know obviously the competitor for Juan Soto in town right here is the Mets. But I think a lot will be determined on, how the season ends. If the Mets are able to rally and go to the postseason, they're a fun team. They've got some core players locked up and some young talent. I think that can be appealing to Juan Soto to potentially join them. But, if the Yankees go, there's so many different ways you can look at it. If the Yankees fall short of the World Series, Juan Soto may feel like he has unfinished business. If the Yankees get to the World Series and lose, Juan Soto may feel like he has unfinished business. If the Yankees win the World Series, they may feel like they don't have to pay $585 million for Juan Soto because they got the ring with him in the 1-year rental of him. But they also may feel like, hey, we can go back to back. Maybe we could three-peat. The American League is wide open. We're going to talk about the Houston Astros and the Baltimore Orioles splitting. We'll talk about how I just don't fear anyone in the AL Central. How if there ever was a year to not waste Aaron Judge's prime, and Aaron Judge himself has to get it done in the postseason. I know he's a 211 hitter in October. So what? This is a different October. It's coming up. We absolutely cannot waste the opportunity that we have to bring postseason baseball back to New York, in Queens, and the Bronx, and have a good time this October. 888-808-1019.